Seriously, just I miss old K-pop music, you know? Because K-pop music now, it's not the same. Everything is... Well, first off, one of my pet peeves about modern K-pop, and there are groups that I love, and then there are groups that I'm not like a huge fan of. Sorry, I'm in a certain genre of music. But, some groups I like and some I don't like. But the number one overall pet peeve about K-pop for me is mini albums. Now, see, back in old school K-pop, back in 98, 99, 2000, a mini album was more or less the debut album. A group would come out, they would have 4 to 6 songs on this little mini album, and if the group, um, they made the mini album just in case the group didn't get popular, or they did. But you know, back then it was, back then it was just different. You come out with a mini album, the debut album, and if the group tanked, then it was like, okay, we did 4 to 6 songs for, 2 music videos max, and that was it. But if they came out like a mini album and then they got successful, then that was it was like, okay, well, this mini album has sold really well. People are liking the music videos. They're liking the group. They're liking the whole concept of it. So they came out with the second album, which was the full album. 12 to 15 songs. Which, a couple of tracks would be somebody talking in Korean. Yeah. Shinhwa, H.O.T., you guys, I'm talking to you because I got your albums and I don't speak Korean, so I don't know what you're saying in that. And then, then next album be the third album, it'd be a full album. Fourth album be a full album. They would have a Christmas album, which would pretty much be like a mini album. It would be about 7 songs, maybe. It would be somewhere around 5 to 7 songs. So like a extended mini album. But nowadays K-pop, they don't even have full albums anymore, do they? Because every time, like nowadays when a K-pop group comes out, they have the mini album. Okay, their debut album, 5 songs. And then the group becomes successful, and they come out with a second mini album. Now the second mini album and the same songs from the first mini album, that is done in Japanese and done in Chinese and English and Tagalog and Hebrew and Malay, whatever languages they can get these people to speak. And then the third album will be the same songs from the first and second album remixed. Like you would get, for the third album, you would get the Japanese album remix with Snoop Dogg. You would get, like the Chinese version of a song sung with some Marlene Farmer, who's like a French pop artist. She's more like a French version of Pink. And they would just have some random foreigner thrown in there just for the hell of it, And that would be what is passing as music now. As albums now, they would just take a mini album, do it in some other language, remix it, have it featuring somebody else in it, have it extended, and just repackage it. And it's weird. I like a lot of these groups, but I hate some mini albums. If it was like a benefit concert, like, oh, natural disaster happened, we should do a mini album so we can make donations to help these people out. I'm for that. If a group comes out, debut artist or debut group, then fine, have them a mini album. But it's when every album becomes the mini album. When every album is, well, this is Run Devil Run in Chinese, and the third album's gonna be Run Devil Run in Japanese. And then the fourth album's gonna be Run Devil Run with a Chinese rapper tossed in with a Japanese rapper, originally sung in Korean, remix with Snoop Doggy Dogg. You're looking at it like, how many versions of this song exist? And why do you keep doing this? Why? I mean, I like a lot of these songs, I like a lot of the, like, Korean songs. I'm an original person. I like songs in their original language. Because it's whenever they come out with a song in another language, it always seems like they really didn't put no thought into it. Like, if they're writing a, love song, they're kind of infatuated and they go, okay, I'm going to write this in my native language, which, Korean in this case. And they will sit there and they will write it in Korean. And they have all that emotion and that stuff flowing in, and they write it. And then 2-3 months down the line, their managers tell them, okay, do this in Japanese. And, write this song in Japanese, write this song in Mandarin. It's not the same. It's not the same. It doesn't have the same meaning to it. But they do that, Seriously, I can't even keep up with how many albums SNSD even owns. Because it's like, oh, they're coming out with a new album. Yay! It's a remix. Oh, God. 2 months later, they're coming out with a new album. They're coming out with a new album in September. And it's all their favorite hit songs in Chinese. It's weird. I remember when a group came out. Sorry, I just killed something and it's moving. Sorry about that. But, back then, I done forgot what I was gonna say. Damn. But really, back then, that was how it was, I've got I got K-pop albums, some old K-pop. Shinhwa, One Time, HOT. I can't even read from here, but I got it, and they're all shortened albums. Well, not shortened albums. They're all like full-length albums. But now groups are coming out with these mini ones. And it's different in, J-pop. In the Japanese music industry, it's different. If Lock and CL comes out with a new album, which they have, which I got to buy, but I'm gonna buy Lock and CL's new album when Alice 9 comes out with theirs, so I can just get both and not have to remember. But now, when a Japanese artist comes out with an album, it is a full album. It's at least 10 to 12 songs. So you don't feel like, oh, when they come out with the next album, it's just going to be remixed. You know it's going to be original songs. So, again, I don't get that whole every album has to be a mini album. Debuts, fine. Christmas, fine. Um, a mini album for some sort of charity, that's fine. I'm for it. But when your entertainment group, your managers and agents are too lazy to come out with or to write 10 songs, instead they're willing to write 2 songs and then get that album out there, and then go and write 2 more songs and get that album out there, and write 3 more songs and get that album out there, and then 2 more songs and get the 5th album down the line. You finally got 12 songs, and then they go and translate all the songs into some other language, and that's 5 more albums. And next thing you know, a group will have 10 albums with only 24 songs in all. Seriously, look at K-pop music. Look at the discography of a lot of this K-pop music that is out now. They don't have that many songs. They would have like 6 albums and 15 songs, maybe 20 if you include remixes. Now look at their counterpart. Like SNSD Japanese counterpart would be I would say AKB48, just off the top of my head, because I can't keep up with all the names of any of the members of both groups. But again, out of all these, out of both groups, how many songs were on the first 3 AKB48's album versus the first 3 albums of SNSD? That's the difference. And there's too many mini albums. I want a full album. When I feel like I buy an album, I want to feel like I'm buying more than 2 songs. Bring back the old days of K-pop where a group's first full album, the 1.5, as old school K-pop people know. The first album, the 1.5, was all like a full album versus, these little tiny remixes. I'm just saying.